Sanjay, Hrithik, this was the first time that the two of you were working together.
Yes.
How long did it take to establish a comfortable relationship? I ask because both of you respectively have worked with other collaborators frequently. Hrithik, you with, say, Ashutosh Gwarikar, your own father, Rakesh Roshan, Sanjay, in your case, Sanjay Dutt, for example. I would imagine that there's a comfort, a shorthand when you're working with someone that you already worked with before. There's that, there's that comfort in knowing that they understand what I need. With the first time collaborator, I would imagine that it's a bit like a first date, right? You want it to work, there's a little bit of excitement, there's some anxiety.
He won't be asking us this question after a second film.
Yes.
No, I think what is really important for me to start working with someone is basically assurance basically that I can surrender to this director, and that happened with me at the first meeting itself, because Sanjay came to my house and he narrated the script to me verbatim. He didn't have a script in his hand, and he took me through the entire journey of the film and was able to transfer his vision and the emotion of the script. And it came from him. It wasn't reading out, it wasn't, so he knew it was him. The film was him. And I felt it. I could see what he is seeing, I could feel what he's feeling. And that for me is, it's like a no-brainer after that. It's like if the person, any person, can express what he is wanting to articulate and wanting to show, if he can transfer it to you, that means he can transfer it on film as well. So, from that moment, I was completely assured that, and that's it. After that, it's like, and he's a really nice guy. It's just very, very easy to work with.
Right.
Really, really easy to work with. And I just love the fact that, I got to learn as well. I love being proved wrong. I love it. It's the most incredible feeling when you are thinking one thing and someone shows you another thing and you're like, no, that's wrong, but then you get proved wrong. And that's your growth. Like, oh, I learned something. So when he set up the first scene frame and all that, I was like, it's not this to the left. I mean, he was framing everything to all the close-ups were on one side of the frame. So I was like, in the theater, they'll be seeing like this. This is weird. How will it work like that? And he said, no, I think it looks nice. Just trust me. He never argues also.
Right.
So I've actually had to be very, very kind of, I don't know, what's the word? Nice in my demeanor, in my attack, that this is wrong, I feel this is wrong. Because if I say too much, he'll say, okay, then, let's do it your way.
Right.
So I didn't want to him to compromise.
Right.
So
is that the director's trick then, to do it gently and let him feel like he's making the choice that you want, really?
Whatever he did worked. Whatever he did worked. However he came across worked for me.
No, it is just Rajeev, for me also, it's very important to reinvent yourself as you go along, and especially in this film, where both your characters are visually, disabled. I just needed a certain unsettling quality when they're sitting. So it cannot be standard. And I'm not very expressive here. I don't sit and when you're on set, you're constantly, you've got a day to wrap everything up and all that. So that is something I realized a little later, through the making of the film, that the big mistake I was making was not sitting with him before the shoot, because that's where you reassure your actor as well.
Yeah.
That's where initially I was going wrong.
Right.
I would take it for granted and just get on there, and it's like when you're working for the first time also. But the point is that he, being as seasoned as he is and everything, so like it used to happen with me and Sanju, it's happened with me and Ajay on a couple of ads that we've done together. It's when there's something, we just look at each other and it kind of...
Correct. That's shorthand.
He knows, yeah. So with him also it was that.
Right.
But then I realized that his process is a lot deeper. So that is something I had to really understand and then work my way around it.
Okay. Hrithik, it's evident from the first trailer, certainly, of the film, that you play a blind man whose life is completely destroyed when his wife is violated. And we follow that journey to see how he avenges that crime. Now, it's not the first time that you're playing a disabled character. In Koi Mil Gaya, of course, you played a child man, a grown person with a slower brain. In Guzarish, you play a man who's severely paralyzed. Now, I wouldn't dare to assume that all disabilities are alike, but the greatest actors in the world have said that it's hardest to play normal people, people who with all faculties intact, everyday people, and that the crutch of a disability is usually easier. Would you agree with that?
For me, yes, I would agree with that. Because as actors, the maximum that we can do is to manifest all the experiences that we have been through in our lives in our character. So the idea is to the basic deal between the person and the character is an exchange of that. You take something from the character and then you give that character whatever you can from your life. So if you have had experiences of a certain kind, you will be more inclined to attract a character of a certain kind. So that's the I think a tendency that's normal. That's just, and it's logical. Acting out something that I am not will be acting, and in that sense, I'm not a good actor because I can't just act. I can't mimic. I'm not that kind of an actor. Maybe I have the talent, but I've never developed it. I guess I don't know. So yeah, that's how it is.
What was the challenge that Kaabil posed? Which is perhaps different from
but
Guzarish or
I
Koi Mil
will
Gaya.
say this. I will say this. When I did Guzarish, I thought that was the hardest. When I did Koi Mil Gaya, I thought, wow, this is going to be hard. But frankly, playing a blind character is the hardest thing to do. It is so distracting on set because you can actually see.
Right.
You can see, and what happens is that the brain, if there's a light source, and I want my eyes to be like really blank and open, but if there's a light source that's like passing, the eyes flinch,
Right.
and they flinch whatever you do, it will flinch. So if there's any disturbance in the visual, the eyes, the retina, the eyeball will
Follows
kind of
that,
like,
yeah.
it just follows it. It's and especially when you see it in high speed,
Right.
so if it's action and there's a hand that is supposed to go and I'm not supposed to react to that,
Right.
you won't see it in real time, but in slow motion when you see it, the eye actually follows it for a bit and then comes back.
Right.
So it kind of like, and I'm like, what the hell, man? How do I do this?
Did that then take a
Me
lot
on
of
top
getting
of that
used
with
to?
all my slow-mos.
I was going to say,
Slow motion,
really, yeah.
angles and really wide shots and really, up close like that.
Correct. So he doesn't miss a beat. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so we just kept retaking, and I really had to, kind of really get control of my
And
nerves.
That's what I
And
wanted to add to your earlier
Sure.
question when you said that it's more difficult to play normal. In a sense, but to play a blind man that convincingly and with, like people have turned around and said, yeah, even in the posters he's looking blind. Now that's not that's a
In a still image.
it's a very tough thing to do. And even me, I remember when I went to narrate to him also, for me it was not at all the superstar. It was not getting a superstar from a film. I just wanted to see, because I believe in him, I know he's a brilliant actor. I was myself dying to see how he's going to bring it to life.
Right.
What is he going to do that first day on set? You roll the camera and what this man is going to do, and that is it. And then you could just sit there and, but that was all him. That's all that, from where it came, how it came. I'm not part of that process.
Was for both of you was a huge chunk of the challenge, and perhaps the attractive challenge, the fact that he is an actor who is so expressive through his eyes, and that is a tool that you're then taking away from him. Was that also part of the challenge?
Well, there were some moments where I wanted to do some things with my eyes,
Right.
and then I could not. And so, what actually happens is that every expression is actually an emotion, and if you relax the muscles of your eyes or whatever
Correct.
that you don't want to use, but still feel the emotion, it will come somewhere in your countenance. It will appear, it will connect, it will get transferred. So I assured myself with that and went with it.
I feel that was a myth that was broken for me.
Right.
That you only express through your eyes
Eyes,
and everything,
sure.
because I mean he's keeping this one glazed gaze,
Yeah.
but every emotion is coming through.
Correct.
Even in the trailer you can see it.
Yeah.
When he is happy, when he is sad, when he is angry, everying is there. It's all
What are
coming
the
out.
cliches that you wanted to avoid, Gupta? As someone who's a cinephile
Yeah.
like you are, what are the cliches, the blind character cliches that
No,
you
those
wanted
standard
to
glasses.
avoid? Right.
You not want glasses.
So those are things generally you do. hide
Also, not
behind.
making the character helpless.
Yeah, there's nothing
know,
helpless about it.
The film is not like, for instance, in contrast, but not in a bad way. In Koi Mil Gaya, the environment was building your sympathy
For him.
for the
True,
character.
right.
In this film, the environment is not building the sympathy for the character, which is why it was an even greater challenge.
Sure.
That because it's very easy when you
Correct.
get the audience on your side,
Right.
and you're feeling bad for this person.
Yeah.
It's
You're
author back.
rooting
Then
for him,
you're
right,
you're,
right.
you're rooting for him. It becomes easy. We didn't have that crutch in this. I didn't have that that assurance.
And it's actually
in
great
this.
because in both the trailers, even in this one, the matter-of-fact way in which he says, "I'm going to come and get you, I'm going to take revenge," even in the new
Yeah,
trailer
I
where he
love
says,
So
that.
traditionally, there's no hero
I
giri.
love the writing.
"Ab dar
of
nahi
that.
jaoge, you'll
Yeah.
come, right?" I mean that's great. Just you're right. He's not a victim. He's clearly not a. You're not
Yeah.
playing him as a victim, right? Sanjay, would it be fair to say that both in the West and here in India now, trailers are giving away way too much of the plot? It's true in Hollywood as well. And I mean, I remember watching the trailer of Kaabil and really liking it. I remember we had a conversation, but I felt like I knew exactly what was going to happen.
But don't say it now in the interview
No.
again.
No, I'm not
You
going
know
to.
it because you're intelligent.
But do you feel like there was a time, back in the day when trailers were selling plot, story, what to expect, whereas today I would imagine you're selling, the performance, you're selling how you unfold that story. Do you feel like that there has been that change? I see that in Hollywood films as well, the superhero movies. You pretty much know exactly what's going to happen.
But see, the point is that the trailers have become the most important tool
Yeah.
right now. The
It's a
most.
film by itself.
Right.
The trailer.
And you have
So you
to
just
kill
put
it.
everything, you just
Not
put
really.
whatever.
Not
No,
everything.
we've got so much
Sure.
more. That's why we've just come out of the second theatrical.
Right.
And we're still holding a
Holding
lot
back.
to come before
Right.
the release of the film.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I do see certain trailers where everything is given away. But we did not have, with Kaabil, the whole point was, in any case in the film, okay, there's a blind man on a vendetta, out for vengeance. But the beauty is, the intrigue is how he's going to do it.
Right.
And that is what, that is our ace.
Right.
Also, I don't feel it with the trailers of Kaabil. I don't feel like, arey, shit, we gave too much. No.
I certainly don't feel that about the second one.
Yeah.
The second one certainly feels like it's much more about the treatment and it's much more character building.
But
the
you know,
character.
I think it's very, very important because there's so much choice.
Yeah.
I think the consumer must know exactly what he is getting into.
Right.
He must make his choice based on information that's correct.
Sure. So the tricky
So-
balance then is to give the enough to know what it is, but
And
hold
still
back
hold
the
Absolutely.
keep your
and
aces.
to excite
yeah.
them,
Right.
to want to come into the theatre.
Right. Hrithik, both personally and professionally, 2016 was a challenging year for you. In fact, while you were shooting Kaabil, so much was going on. How does one keep one's head above the water and just focus on the work when there's so much going on?
Well, you just focus, yeah. It's in fact, what happens is that it is very. It's a misconception that chaos is distracting. Actually, it's not. Chaos can be very, very centering, because when things are in chaos, your mind searches and seeks for the center. And if you are a person that's inclined towards peace and centering yourself, you will get there, and you will find such an incredible center that you will thank the chaos. You will thank the chaos that because of all that, I could just shut the world out and I could do what my heart was into, and then from there it just it becomes so peaceful. It's amazing.
Were you surprised, Sanjay, by how maturely or how normally he handled a life unraveling on the other side? I mean, were you surprised by just how focused he was able to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but it didn't really come as a surprise to me. you know, and in a certain sense, you get to know a person, and you realize how strong that person is. So it's not surprising, but at the same time, it is, you know, you do appreciate that.
Yeah.
You learn from it also
Sure.
at times.
Because I would imagine as a director, it must be worrying, right? Finding out that, you know, a big film hadn't worked. Mohenjo-daro hadn't worked at that time. There was, you know, what we've described as a scandal. But did it worry you that, is he going to bring his A game? Is he going to continue to bring his A game? Or is the film going to be affected?
No, that was never, it never ever even crossed my mind. You know, nothing. And in that sense, even I'm pretty thick-skinned. You know, I don't let these things.
Sure.
I mean, definitely they will not come into my mind at all. So it's just, in a sense, even I'm the same way. If there's something which is not right, I'll, you know, derive my strength from it.
Sure.
And go from strength to strength.
The joy that we had on set was indescribable. I don't think anything could penetrate that amount of love and joy that everyone brought onto the set. It was just, it felt as if this film was destined to be made at this time, and it was, it has a destiny of its, you know,
its own,
of
certainly,
its own,
most certainly.
because every actor, every technician who came into this film came into it, you know, thinking that this is our little cozy space and we are going to build something really nice here, you know. So it so happens that Shudeep, the cameraman, also would come to me and say, Hrithik, do you want to do that? You want to do one more take of that shot? It's not his place to say it.
Right.
But he is wanting to do something else with that light over there to help my shot.
Sure.
And he's saying that, do you want to do that again? He's not wanting, he's had a long day.
Right.
It
would be easier for him to just
to
take
just
the shot
go
and
home.
go,
He's
right.
the camera, he's lit the scene beautifully. But
Right.
he feels that as an actor, I can look better if he lights it in a certain way. And we did. We took that, we broke for lunch and we shot that again. He lit the thing. So what I'm trying to say is that the environment of that set was so beautiful. All the actors, Rohit, Ronit, Yami,
Right.
where they just came in, you know, like this was our little secret,
Sure.
cozy space where we are all together and building something, and very curious as to, you know, what we're going to do
Like
next.
nobody was reporting to work.
Right.
Ah,
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like work then.
Yeah.
And Rajeev, I'm telling you, this is definitely a first in my career, not even in my first film. But every milestone, like when we finished scripting, when
Yeah.
we finished shooting,
No.
when we locked the edit,
Yeah.
I was sad.
Yeah, heartbreaking, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, oh shit, this is over now, this is
Right.
over. Like right down to the background score, we just finished it and I'm like, oh man, I was walking out of Salim Sulaiman's studio at night and I was like, yeah, this is also over. Now finally it's just the mix is left.
Right.
So it's just kind of, but it's really been a spectacular journey.
Yeah.
Also, it's a film where you've worked with different collaborators this time, haven't you?
Certainly.
You have different.
See, I worked with Akeev, Shudeep,
Right, right.
my first time. We've known each other for years.
Sure.
Akeev, Sham, you know, Sham Kaushal. So all these guys, it's been
Does that
wonderful.
help keep you on the toes? I mean, is that what you meant when you said reinvent? I mean, is that the challenge?
No,
then
that is
to
that's
kind of keep it-
definitely, definitely. I mean, I have never worked with Akeev, and now I'm like, I don't think I can ever work without Akeev.
Yeah.
You know, it's that. So there's also been, it's been a wonderful, you know, collaboration with people, and it has opened up a lot of vistas. You know,
I can't not ask you about the clash with Raees. How do you honestly feel about that? And do you feel like genuinely, I mean, is it, are you hopeful that both films will do well, or do you genuinely believe that there is an opportunity for both films to do well?
No,
And,
but
and in an ideal
I just
situation, would you
feel- I
have
feel
liked
sad.
it? Yeah.
I wouldn't want that at all. Nobody would want that with their film.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very simple thing. I mean, when you worked the way you have, and I'm sure even
Yeah,
they worked as
of
hard.
course.
Everybody works hard. You know, everybody sets out to make a show.
Yeah.
You're not just so one has done that and everything. So it's a little, it's unfortunate. But having said that, I mean, beyond a point, I also feel that and we're not even getting into let the best man win. It's not
Right.
that. But a good film, a good story, ultimately it's going to find its audience, irrespective.
Yeah, so I mean, it is unfortunate, but it's unfortunate without blame. It's
Was there no way it could have been ironed out?
It's not something that's wrong. It's not wrong. It's not illegal. It's
Sure.
not even unethical. It is
Right.
how it is. You know, two films are ready. You know, one has waited for too long, and they've had no choice, and they want to, you know, come on the date
Must
that
be
we
awkward
announced.
because they're friends.
Well, no, it's not. It's not. You know, once you communicate and you understand, you say, okay, it's fine. It's unfortunate, it's sad, but it's fine. But there was a very interesting thing that my dad pointed out to me that, you know, and it was a revelation. I said, oh yeah, you're right. Because he said that, you know, we all have the same calendars.
Yeah.
Hollywood,
Right.
Bollywood. The calendar is
It's
same.
the same, correct.
Number of dates are same.
Right.
In Hollywood, no two big films have ever clashed.
Right.
Batman will never come with Superman.
That's true.
You know, no two big films. Lord of the Rings will not come with
Right.
Harry Potter.
Right.
So there they manage it really, really well. You know, it's something that kind of like, you know, made me think that, okay, you know, it is actually possible. I should not be okay with it.
Sure.
We should not be
Right.
okay with it. We
Right.
should manage our calendar
Better.
because it is better for the industry. It's better. I mean, both the films coming together is going to be a loss for if both the films are good. I mean,
Sure. Sure.
for
You're
the
taking
sake
that
of the
for granted,
conversation,
right.
I'm
Assuming
presuming
that-
and assuming that the both films are good, and even if they do their best, we would still earn about 100 crores less for the industry compared to if both the films were released
Right.
individually. So, but that's okay. I mean, I know it's all I'm saying is that it's unfortunate, but it's without blame.
Sure. Finally, you're only a few weeks away from the release of Kaabil. You said that you feel sad that the journey has ended. What's the overwhelming feeling that you're kind of, you know, consumed by as you're literally weeks away from the release?
I don't know, yeah, Rajeev. I mean, at this point of time, it's
Are you too busy kind of
Yes.
putting the film together
Yeah.
to think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's
We are
just that.
just on that, you know, the final few stages and just making sure that it all comes together right. Every sound is right. It's okay. So it's that feeling right now. It's that okay type.
No, and I
at the
have
moment.
a very strange feeling which I've never had ever
Uh-huh.
my entire career is I'm very scared
Wow.
at times because
That's a good sign.
everything has gone so well
Right.
with the film. Everything, by every department, everything. So I'm just scared, kuch gadbad nahi ho jaye. Ab kuch, you know, nothing should go wrong. So I'm like, I pray, I said, just let the journey.
This is coming from the influence of Hindi cinema, actually. You know, this feeling that sab kuch theek ho raha hai, to something will go wrong. Yeah. Our Hindi films have only instilled that. Because in
The
the movie,
last act conflict.
yeah, because in the movie, whenever everyone's happy in the film, no,
Something
abhi
has
kuch
to-
hoega, abhi kuch hone wala hai. That is, but you know, I think you should let go of that. And that's built by us only.
Well, here's hoping that cliche is kind of demolished
Completely,
on
yeah.
this film. All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajeev.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.